Welcome back. So the second part of today is to go through the TestNav8 tutorial that you will also be going through with your students in class. So for this, I think it would be good to have a partner. So one of you can watch the video or have the video open, or one for the whole department. And then you have your laptops open so you can at the same time I am go through the tutorial. So open the link that I sent you and go to this part where it says practice test and scroll down to TestNav tutorial. And so let's click in that TestNav tutorial and start the tutorial that you're going to be taking with your class. So my goal here, that you see there are 42 questions, are to go through just the questions we need to go through, because there are some ELA questions and some questions that are for math related. So we're going to start with the 42 questions, and we'll start at slide number 1. We just want to navigate the screen a little bit. So up in the left-hand corner, you can see you go forwards or backwards. This right in here, this review button, allows you to scroll down to any question you're looking for in the exam. So we're going to use that today so we don't go through all of the questions. You can bookmark a specific question. It shows you which ones you haven't answered, which ones you have, or the list of questions that you're looking at. And so again, you can bookmark a question that you're looking at. This is the pointer and a ruler, the notepad, and the calculator. Over here is an answer eliminator in the top, and then on the far right, if you click the drop-down menu, you see that you can actually change the background foreground color, enable the magnifier, show the line reader, and for students when they're taking the test, or if they want to sign out, you sign out of TestNav over here. So let's go ahead back over to the left and move forward to the first slide that I think we should go to. We're on slide 2, but let's go ahead and jump down to question number 4, because we don't need to go through all of the information. The kids will do that in their English class as well. So just moving through the test, we want to show them all of these components. I think that's a good review, even though they may have seen that in English class. So all of those various buttons, so they know what session they're on, what question they're on. It tells them what the name is. This is the student tutorial. Okay, so reviewing your answers just for which questions they've done and which they haven't done, that's the button they want to review right there. So you see the example on this next slide. Bookmarking a question puts this little tag right in there, a bookmark, so kids know they should go back to that one. They've read it, but they should go back and look at it again. And slide number 7 is just showing that students have answered, what they've answered, not answered, the bookmark, so that before they submit their section, they make sure they've completed all of the questions. Okay, so let's jump ahead now to question number 11. So go back up to review and scroll down to question number 11. So on here, these are all the tools that I mentioned in the agenda screencast that we want to go through. There's quite a few here, but let's go through them anyway so that we can then show our students and they're well prepared. So the toolbar up here, the drop-down menu, and then based on different screens, some other tools will appear on the right. There are a couple tools we won't go over, which is sign language and audio, because our students wouldn't have that option, but this would be the side of the screen where the reference sheet shows up. In the toolbars, just a more pointed view of the different tools that we can have here. And now we're going to get to the part where we actually practice some of those. So select an answer, drag it, and the ruler tool. So here we are in the pointer, and now let's just go ahead and practice the ruler. It's an inch ruler here. If you scroll down, you see on the left there's this little orange sort of try it button, orange and gray button. So practicing navigating this, click on the ruler at the top so that it appears. Move it around the screen. You can turn it and measure. So this is what we want students to practice. They will not be as familiar with this, and we want to show them where those tools are. There's a notepad, which might be used more for the English language class, but I thought it's worth showing that anyway for us. So screen number 16 is the 5-function calculator. And so we see at the top here, this is the calculator that would appear, and they can literally type in their questions if they don't have their own calculator. Okay. Try it so that you can try it on the next slide. Open it up, close it up, type in there. The eliminator tool, which I'm not so sure will happen so much in math, but it might when you have a multiple choice questions. And so you click this X button and it eliminates when you hover over one of those questions. So let's go ahead and try it on the next slide. So if we press the answer eliminator, if I go over here, you can select an answer that you crossed out. If you press your button, it literally bolds it and keeps it there. You can also undo it. And so this is a pretty awesome tool for kids who need that visual component. We're going to skip slide number 20 and go to slide number 21. I'm not so sure how many kids are going to want to change the background, but this is where they do it, and maybe during your classes when they do it, so they're all set and ready to go, and they get this out of their system. Changing the background, they have all these options. I honestly did not play around with this because I don't think I'm going to need it, but you can play around with that here in this moment if you'd like to. The magnifier and zoom details. So I think this is pretty interesting. Maybe a student needs to zoom in a little bit. I think what you'll see on the screen will be sufficient, but perhaps not. And so enable magnifier, if you click on the right-hand side up here, enable magnifier, and then we can scroll down here and see the image blown up a little bit. So that's pretty cool. Let's keep going here. The line reader, I'm not so sure we're going to need this, but it takes chunks if there's a paragraph and allows kids to see portions of what is being asked, so they're reading smaller portions of it. I think it's pretty cool right here, this line reader, and they may or may not need it. So you literally drag this down. The problem is you have to move the whole thing down at times. I'm not sure how many students will want this, but I think it's important to show them that as well. At this time, we're going to jump ahead to slide question number 29. So question number 29 is solely math, the math reference sheet. If you see on the right-hand side, there's that button for exhibits here. So if we scroll down, it says try it. We click on it, we can zoom down, you can make it, can you make it larger? I don't know. But zoom in, zoom out. I think, again, there's going to be a paper one available for students. Question number 30 is our next one. These are all the types of questions that are going to be available for students, so these are the important ones for us to go through with them. Again, I think they're user-friendly, but we want to do our due diligence. Let's go down to question number 33 now. Multiple choice, literally click one of them, right, and it'll get yourself an answer. 34, multiple select. Just the idea of going through this is good for kids to do. I think, again, user-friendly. 35, drag and drop, so even numbers, odd numbers, we literally click in, nice and easy. 36, select the shapes that have 4 sides, so 1, 2, and so they're highlighted. 37, typing the answer in, making sure we have the period versus a hyphen to show negative numbers. This is important that kids are typing in the numbers correctly. And question number 38. So equation editor is here. The symbols that they have available to them. And so we really want them practicing these components, especially like the fractions or mixed numbers or brackets. These are the parts they're not as used to doing. And so we want to make sure that everything is there. Oh, I want to delete that. Clear it all. Delete. Otherwise, we're undoing or redoing. So there's a 3 through 5 equation editor and a 6 through 8 equation editor. So we can have them use either one. It just has more tools on them. So practicing both of them is a good idea. Now let's jump ahead to question number 42. You are, of course, welcome to read all of the other ones, but I wanted to make sure I give you the key information that I think we need. At the end of their session, they know they're done if all questions are answered and there are 0 bookmarks. That means they have answered every question in the session, and they would submit their final answers. And so we are going to do the same thing here. Submit final answers. And yes, submit my final answers. And then we are done. Thank you.